Uh, so we had kind of the history on this in our ward. We have the emergency response coordinator. Is that what we're using? What language we're using these days? Anyways, he's pretty engaged, Brother Lee Yankee, and
Mhm.
um, he approached me and said, how can we get better communications? He's already got boots on the ground developed. Everything's geographically, districts and, district captains and, 4 or 5 families very well organized. So, and he has to, maintain that, of course. So he's issued all those maps. So the ward and the bishop's really behind it. So the key to the success in our ward is a bishop that's very supportive of it. And then the emergency recovery person, he's very organized and engaged as well. And so that really helped get, people involved because they were like, okay, there's people organized and are leading this, then we'll go ahead and follow. When it's not, how things are, when it's not organized and kind of wishy-washy, people just check out. So he did that, and then he said, hey, can we do radios? And I said, yeah, Mike Guyman talked about a commercial radio with a USB jack, and let's test that. And I programmed it, and they're cheap. And so let me share my screen. And we decided to, I bought like 8 of them, and he bought another 8 or so. We just kind of used our own money to kind of get going. And then once it got going, then we would just ask people to donate. Is the cost was $40 all in, and so it was pretty reasonable. I mean, and we did the key is we wanted to get something that was actually going to work. You just can't get the blister pack, Spider-Man radios from Walmart. Those aren't going to, work. So we went with the GMRS radio. This is a 5 watt commercial radio. This is the newest edition, the one that Mike had spec'd, the 888 Plus is no longer available. So I found, I guess, what Baofeng's most current one is. So as you can see, you can get 2 of these. They come in a two
We're not
pack for.
you're not sharing your screen with me.
Oh, I gotta hit share somewhere. Here it is, share. All right, sorry.
That's
So
okay.
here it is. So the beauty of these radios is the simplicity. There's no screen, there's nothing, no less things for them to mess up and put the wrong frequency and all that. Of course, the flip side to that is you need somebody, which is in my case me, to program all these, and so that they're all uniform. And but we've done that, and they've been working well for quite a few months now. So we do a monthly net. So we'll talk about that in a second. So here's the latest version. Again, 2 of these for 20 less than $20. They're not on, I didn't see it on Amazon. So you have to go directly to Baofeng's website at the moment. They'll probably get up on Amazon sooner or later. But again, they have a USB charge port on the side. You have to open the little rubber flap, and then so therefore you could plug it into the cigarette lighter in your car. And you've got gasoline, right? You run your car, and you could charge these radios, as long as you got gasoline in the car. You could have no power for a week or two, and just keep charging these little radios. They are 5 watts, and they are in the 420 to 450 megahertz, so they're right there in that the GMRS sweet spot, and in the commercial bands as well. There's 16 channels. And so I've programmed all 16 channels with a band plan. So let me go show you. Oh, before we do that, I want to show you to get the range on these radios, you got to get rid of the stock antennas because these little rubber ducky antennas, maybe 2 or 3 or 400 yards, it seemed like. I was testing it with my wife. So I went and got a Nagoya. Pull that over here. Because the Nagoya makes a really good aftermarket radio antenna, and so I did SDWR before and after checks, and this thing was really, performed, and so we can go about 2 miles now
Wow.
with these on these little commercial 5 watt radios. So this is $20 antenna. So the antenna is more than the radio, but that's like anything, right? The antenna is everything. So that's the key. You have to put the aftermarket antenna on it, and then it was successful. Uh, Otherwise, yeah, there's no shot. So what we do is we got kind of a band plan that we developed. Let's see if I can show you that. Yes, can you read that? Is it
Yeah.
big enough for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Probably zoom it in a little bit. Okay. Um, so then I thought, okay, how do I want to set this up? So I thought, okay, I want to use a GMRS frequency, and I want to use one that's is one of their repeater frequencies, because what I do, I've got a base station, GMRS base station that I'm pumping 50 watts out. So, which is legal on a base station. And so I'm kind of the hub for our ward. So and I've got an antenna on the roof. So I can hear a lot of these. We issued 35 of these radios out to amongst the ward. And we have a sister that's in her 80s and she uses it, stands out in front of the driveway. And so we've got some pretty good success rate with people using them and being able to hear each other. Now, it does help that I'm, kind of the middle guy, on the high ground with and running 50 watts high power. So they all can hear me, but but they sometimes can't hear each other, and so then we do a bunch of relays, which is great practice. They enjoy that. They kind of like, oh, I can help, I can hear him, so it's kind of fun. So I finally settled on uh, a GMRS frequency, which is actually GMRS channel 15, which is a repeater frequency, as our main frequency here in red. And the thought was that we were going to do the 333 plan, which is kind of the survivalist plan. And I've got little stickers that I've created with all this information, and I put them onto the back of the radio so that they can see all this. They just, they go, hey, channel 3, they know exactly where to go. It's for the stickers on the radio. So they don't have to think, they don't have to think. They just have to turn the radio on, go to channel 3. And so we say, we're going to test, we're going to do a net on the third Saturday, the 333 plan, at the third hour. In this case, we call that 9 a.m. And it's on channel 3. So 333, third Saturday, 9 a.m., channel 3. So, again, keeping this really simple and easy for them to remember. And they turn it on to channel 3, and there's not much to it. They just push to talk, pretty simple, not much they can mess up. And then at 9 o'clock, I do a roll call. And let's see if I've got a roll call here somewhere. What we do is, let's see here, roll call. Got a lot of things open. Here we go. Let me slide this over. So they're encouraged to get their GMRS license, but you know how difficult that is. To get people to do things, right? Even though
Yep.
it's just paperwork with the FCC online, $35, whatever it is. But most of them don't. So what I've done to kind of keep this sort of legit when we're on the airwaves is I said, okay, whatever their street name is, and plus the first or the last two digits of their address. So this person who is the Release Society president, I call her Alameda 14.
Okay.
So I go through the
Yep.
roll here, just like we would run a net, and
Uh-huh.
I call them by their names, and we use first names only. I said, don't use your last name.
Okay.
They were starting. And here's what we've been doing it since January of
Wow.
this year. So you can
That's
see,
great. It's
yeah, we
better
were
than our
getting,
Tuesday or a Sunday check-ins.
yeah, we're
Sure.
getting 20 in August, 18 check-ins in September, 17 in October. And yeah, it's been really good. So the other thing that we do is we also found a repeater on Palomar, and there's also one on Woodson that I contacted the owners, and they said, "Oh yeah, you're welcome to use it for nets or anytime you want. Nobody hardly uses them." And this repeater on Palomar has been there for like 20, 30 years. So it's legit, it's been sticking around, because that's the thing, GMRS repeaters seem like they come and go.
Right. They do.
So this one's been good. And so we then, after we do our Simplex net, if you will, our GMRS channel 15, I then say, okay, everybody switch to channel 2. We're going to bounce our signals off the Palomar Mountain and back down. And they kind of like that, because they all can hear each other then, right? Because
Yes.
now
Yes.
we don't have to hardly do any relays, because of the 5,000-foot mountain. And that 5-watt radio has no problem getting up to it. And so we then do that. So this takes us probably 25 minutes from 9 to 9:25 to do both the simplex and the repeater side. And so they all got this little printout. I've got a little thing of how to use their radio. I put this on a little Ziploc bag with their radio and their little charger and everything. And so I just say, hey, keep it charged. And so it's been very successful because it's, again, they get it that if we're out, we don't have any power for 3 or 4 days, the cell towers are finally going to run out of battery or generator, diesel. They realize that this will work, and it has. They know each other's call signs. They know that, as long as I'm in town and I'm retired now, I don't go anywhere. So we'll have a pretty good chance of being able to communicate with each other in the ward in an emergency. So that's kind of in a nutshell what we've got. Um, it does, though, it's going to take a radio person like one of us to, I use Chirp software, which is really simple to flash
Right.
these once I got this all set up. Oh, I must point out a couple other things on here. So we do have the Woodson as a backup repeater. That's a little further for us in Shadow Ridge to get to it, but it's sort of doable. And then I put on here channel one, kind of the FRS channel three, which the preppers will use. I use the channel 17 on channel five for survivalists. GMRS. And then the other thing I did, and of course, these are no good anymore. I had because these radios were in the frequency. I said,
Yeah.
hey, you can listen to the Syra repeater. You won't be able to talk because I prevented from talking, but of course now that's defunct, so that's gone. But the other thing is I programmed to hear the Catalina uh, 440 machine. So they can, possibly hear that. And then I programmed them to hear KFI radio and KNX out of LA.
Hmm.
And so you can hear those in North County with these radios. So now it becomes kind of a multi-purpose radio. They can hear an AM, a major Los Angeles City, if there's something big earthquake, they'll be able to get information right there on their radio on channel 14 and channel 15.
Are
So
those transponder frequencies?
yeah, they've had them for years. I found these years ago, and so they're right there. If you were to tune in, a radio that can, gets that frequency, it's just a,
Oh,
simplex.
cool.
It's just a one way, yeah, just transponding. It's not a two way.